Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can we try that again? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah, that's much better. Pending Hujjaj and the Afshu Salama Bainakum is left behind. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. May Allah forgive us and may Allah accept from us, inshallah. Elders, brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum. Once again, my name is Shaheen Essop. I am the president of the South African Hajj and Umrah Council, for what it's worth. However, that's not the purpose of why I'm here today. I'm here today at the request of Maulana Abdul Rahman to come and address this class that is due to depart for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for Hajj, alhamdulillah. And I do believe that you people have been sitting here since prior Ramadan and have been partaking in as many of the knowledge and of the wisdoms that Maulana Abdul Rahman could impart with you. Maulana Abdul Rahman is certainly a seasoned traveler, and I should be sitting on your side and listening to him rather than the other way around, alhamdulillah. But we make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first of all accepts from me, from you, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants us all the ability to understand what is being said for the benefit of what it is being said. And inshallah for you to go and enjoy a journey of a lifetime. Because that's exactly what Hajj is. It's a journey of a lifetime. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala shafil mursaleen Sayyidina wa Nabiyyana wa Maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim ajma'in. All praise and thanks is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the creator of the heavens and the earth, and that which resides between it. Shahidtu Allah ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh wa iqamu as-salat wa ita'u az-zakat wa siyamu sawm Ramadan wal hajjul bayt man istata'a ilayhi sabila. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put to us the four pillars of Islam that are incumbent upon us to be called Muslim, to be followers of this wonderful deen of Islam. And then comes the fifth pillar, وَالْحَجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. Now what is this istita'a? This istita'a is by the means. But every single one of you that have been accredited has been granted that means by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because it is not your wealth, it is not your connections, it is not your persona, it is not your status that takes you for Hajj. It is the invitation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some of you may have been in the application queue for 7 years, for 8 years, some longer than that. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows when it is your time to go for Hajj and when it is your time to stand on the plains of Arafah. There are billionaires in the world. There are millionaires in our country who have the means available to them at a drop of a finger. And yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not extended that invitation to them. We make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala extends the invitation to every single Muslim around the world. And alhamdulillah, with 2.1 billion of us now, and growing, we must be very proud of that number. Firstly, as I said earlier, I'd like to thank Maulana Laili for inviting me here today to address this auspicious gathering of the guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to you for Rahman. I am humbled and should be in the seating area as a learner from our scholar rather than being up here in front of you. Let's talk about the role of Sahuc and some general advices. Since you all were accredited already to embark on this journey of a lifetime, I need not go through the whole process of application and accreditation. But some of the background into the workings of Sahuc. If we go back to pre-1995, South Africans could get their visas upon arrival in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. 9,000 people, 10,000 people sometimes went for Hajj. And alhamdulillah, those are business people, because those business people had money that they could go over and over and over again. 1995, the Saudi government together with the South African government put together a structure where we needed to become more organized in this country. And that was the birth of Sahuc. Sahuc, alhamdulillah, has gone through various iterations. Iterations in the sense that it has improved over the years. It has improved from a non-accredited process to an online accredited process. And that's specifically to protect every single one of you who are the first-time pilgrims that are deserving to go. Prior to 2005, Hujjaj were at their wits' ends whether they were going to go for Hajj or not. Because quotas were given to operators, and the operators would sell those seats to the first available person with money. And that person with money were often multiple repeat Hujjaj, business people that could go and that could fulfill that desire, that obligation. The teacher, the lady selling samosas, kusistas, flowers, back ends of Mitchell's Plain, back ends of Lavender Hill, Eldorado Park, Lens, Chatsworth, wherever you want to call it. The person who was putting away money in a tin, the person who was putting away money in a pillowcase, the person who was selling biscuits in order to make sure that they could go for Hajj, were robbed of that opportunity back then. We took that and we changed it when we brought the advent of the application and accreditation system into being, so that you could have a place in the queue as a first-time pilgrim. The Fard Ibadah will never ever take second place over a Nafil Ibadah. So the repeat pilgrim, unless it's a male serving as a mahram, will never ever be able to be accredited ahead of a first-time pilgrim. And unfortunately, we as Muslims, our Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has said to us, you must never lie. Even if it means your destruction, you must never lie. But people try to justify why they have applied on the system, indicating that they are first-timers. I always think about what a very, very well-known scholar once said to me. He said to me, you must always want for your Muslim brother or sister what you want for yourself. And it brings to mind, I'm going to narrate a quick story to you. In 2003, Alhamdulillah, I performed Hajj with my children, my 2 daughters and my son. They were baligh at the time, and I said to them, make a decision, make istikhara, and tell me if you're ready for Hajj. And my intention was as follows. For my girls, if you get married one day, and your husband cannot afford for you to go for Hajj with him, then his fard must be completed because yours is done, and you will stay at home. So we embarked on Hajj, and we're sitting in Mina after Hajj, in the tent of the males, and there's a youngster sitting with us, he's about 20 years old. And everybody around the tent is now giving their opinion. And the question is asked, would you love to come back again and perform Hajj again? Everybody in the tent, yes, inshallah, I'd love to come back, I'd love to come back. And the turn of this youngster comes in, he says, no, I never ever want to come back here again for Hajj. And the tent goes silent. What do you mean you never ever want to come here for Hajj again? He says, I want to go back home and tell the next person what the great taste and the sweetness of Hajj is, so that every single one of them can come for Hajj like I did. Na'udhu billah, isn't that wisdom from a 20-year-old? The 20-year-old who comes and says, let the next person enjoy what I have enjoyed. We were asked the question not so long ago, why is it that people only in Ihram can go and perform tawaf during Ramadan? Those that are, on the Nusuk app, and you must have an app to go. If we're in cities, we can't go. And some ulama, unfortunately, have been saying, put the Ihram towel over your underwear and go and perform tawaf and mataf. What are we doing? Have we thought about this? In the sense that there's 100,000 people that can perform tawaf at any one time on the mataf area around the Kaaba. Now if we do this, 10,000 of us do this, we are reducing the number of people coming in to perform Umrah by 10,000. Are we not wanting for ourselves only and being selfish by comparison to wanting for others to perform their Umrah on the mataf next to the Baytullah? Yes, if it means go up on the first floor and spend 2 hours to make your tawaf, do that. If it is a person who cannot walk that long, then go to the mezzanine level, 3 levels up, and climb onto the moped. Cost you 115 riyals, and you go and you perform your 7 shouts of tawaf around the Kaaba on the moped. Because Allah has made it easy for you. Allah has not brought upon you the difficulty that you must go and do this according to that process. Second thing, the walking Hajj. And I'm sure Maulana Abdul Rahman would have touched on this. Like he said earlier, our resistance is low in South Africa because we live in a bubble. How many of us can go and walk 12 kilometers in 55 degrees without having difficulty, without coming back with blisters on your feet? There's conveyances. The conveyance takes you There's a special route that will take you to Camp D, and it will take you a half an hour, 45 minutes to get to your camp on the day of Tarwiyah. From the day of Arafah back to Muzdalifah, it will take you 20 minutes. You want to go and walk. By the time you get there, one of the elders in our group said, there's input and there's output. And when the person comes to Arafah, there is kaput. Because he must now lie on his back and we've got to drip him. We've got to make sure that the person is dripped. Last year I was on a mission. And on the day of Arafah, between the time of 9 o'clock in the morning and 3:30 in the afternoon, we administered 175 IV drips to the South African Hujjaj. Where is the time that you need to be spending with ibadah? Our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made one Hajj, alhamdulillah, and he did that upon a conveyance, on the back of a camel. He didn't walk. So let's take this out of our minds. If you want to walk and you're fit enough, know that there will not be any medical support on the walking route. The clinics will be there from Saudi Arabia, but not Saudi. Our responsibility is for the vast majority of the group that we need to ensure the medical facilities in the camp, inshallah. So you've signed all your documents, you've done what you needed to with your Hajj operators. Operators have now got to create packages in the Masar system. There's two systems. One is the accreditation, and that is the front end from South Africa's point of view. Then there's the back end system that allows you to get your visa, and that is known as the Masar or the e-Hajj system. So all your information, your passport uploading, everything gets put into that system, and then your visa gets issued once all of the contracts are in place, alhamdulillah. And then you start with your departure. Now Sahuc will be with you from the time you depart from the airports in South Africa till the time you arrive in Makkah or Medina, and during your stay in Medina, during your stay in Makkah, during your stay in Azizia. The 1,650 Rand that you have paid does not pay my salary, alhamdulillah. I'm a stockbroker by profession. I give my time free to the organization called Sahuc. So do the rest of my board. We are all volunteers and we don't get paid for the service that we provide. We hope, inshallah, that Allah will accept our humble effort one day. And coming back to 2003, I was asked, are you going to get involved in the Hajj industry because you seem very active on the ground in Saudi Arabia? I said, yes, I am. I am going to become involved in the Hajj industry, but not as a Hajj operator or as a guide. I'm going to get involved in the Hajj operating industry so that we can bring some stability and some fairness and equitability into it. And alhamdulillah, after Hajj, that is what I have done. I had gone and offered my services to the South African Hajj and Umrah Council, and I'm still here today, alhamdulillah. Not because we want to be there and we want position or we want power, no. We want to make sure that there's a contribution. And if one looks at what Sahuc has achieved from 2005 to where we are today, it is a phenomenal achievement for the benefit of the Ummah of South Africa. We have had so many requests for expatriates that are residing in our country from other nationalities to partake in our quota. We have protected that, because you as South African passport holders or ID holders are not going to be given that opportunity. If the Somalis or if the Ethiopians or if the Bangladeshis who don't have South African passports come into our country and want to partake in our quota. They have quotas of their own in their country and need to partake in it from that point of view. So coming back to the services, the 1,650 Rand is processed into repatriation of services to every single one of you. Meet and greet at the airports in Medina and Jeddah, depending where you're landing, making sure that you don't have any delays, making sure that when your bags are lost, together with the operator, we will find it and we will make sure it is sent to you accordingly. It's not Sahuc's responsibility that your bag is lost. Sahuc must find it. Sahuc will assist in finding it. It's the airline's responsibility to make sure that that happens. And I'm sure Maulana Abdul Rahman had explained how you need to pack your bags to make sure that in the eventuality, which is unlikely, that your bags do go missing, that you do have clothes to carry on for a few days, in the event of that issue happening. In Medina, you have people on the ground, we have people working there. I've explained the Mobile situation where we basically solicited the services of Mobile for the pilgrims. We also have a clinic which is established in the Taiba Center for the use of the pilgrims. Primary health care, we fully stocked with the medication that is exported from South Africa through the process of the SFDA, the Saudi Food and Drug Administration in the kingdom. So we deal directly with the highest administrations to clear whatever we need to clear to get into the kingdom. Talking about medication, if you're on chronic meds, carry that with you. Make sure that you have the necessary doctor's letters that allows you to carry your chronic meds into the country. Because if you don't, drug trafficking in the country of Saudi Arabia carries the death penalty, and Saudi is not there to save you from the gallows. Unfortunately, people who come in there with the wrong intentions are going to be taken to task by the authorities for that wrong intentions. Remember, we are coming for Hajj. Our sole purpose is for the ibadah of Hajj. Not for whether MBS is the right leader for that country, or whether they're doing the right thing, whether there's concerts happening in Jeddah or in Riyadh or whatever. That's not your and my problem. That is a problem for the ulama to sort out and for the governments to sort out. Your and my duty is for the intention that we have made. Hajj tamattu, Hajj Qiran or Hajj Ifrad. Whichever you are going to make according to that niyyah, that is what you are going to know and complete and going to do. Your purpose is to interact with your Muslim brothers and sisters from other countries, to make sure that you understand their life, their conditions, and for them to understand ours in South Africa as well. It is amazing to see the cauldron of different people from different parts of the world in that part, especially during Hajj. But alhamdulillah, we all communicate for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Money, if you carry more than 10,000 US dollars, you have to declare it at the entry points in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, or 60,000 Saudi riyals needs to be declared. In South Africa, before you leave this country, and you exchange in US currency or foreign currency, make sure you have the correct banking paperwork with you. Because if you are stopped at immigration or you are stopped at security for that purpose, and you get to delay to get onto your flight and your flight leaves without you, your operator is not going to assist you to get your ticket redone. You're going to have to fork out an extra 30 grand or 20 grand to make sure that you can get that ticket. So you need to make sure that if you're carrying foreign currency, you have the right paperwork. Yes, people have slipped through. Gifts are given. $500 here, 500 riyals here, $100 here. That is small. I'm talking about money that you've got on you, maybe $5,000 or $10,000 or that type of thing. You need to be very cognizant about that, because SARS at the airport does not take any lightly people carrying foreign currency out, especially with the recent gold mafia videos going around. We need to be cognizant of these things, please people. It may sound like a joke and it may sound light-hearted, but we need to be cognizant that there are issues and we need to follow those issues and we need to follow the processes and the rules. It's no sense we're making niyyah to go for Hajj and we want to break the rules on one side. So we are often asked by people for advice. What is the best advice? And there's a couple of things that I can give people to understand. Number one, you have been taught the manasik of Hajj by a teacher. Don't go to the kingdom and suddenly get involved in the argument or in the discussion for the men. Is the sandal jaiz for Hajj or not? Or can I wear this with ihram or not? If Maulana Layli has given you the understanding or the teachings relating to your Hajj, follow that teachings. My first Hajj was made in 97, and I've only made 2, by the way. I learned my Hajj from a very good teacher back in 1997, prior to him passing away. May Allah grant him Jannatul Firdaus, inshallah. And I understood this, what he said. He said, beware of what we call the pavement specials. Because when you get to Makkah and Medina, everybody becomes a specialist on Hajj. Everybody wants to teach you about Hajj. Learn from one alim and follow that alim's teachings. Your Hajj will be an exceptional experience by following those teachings. Please understand that. There comes a time on Mina where there's a question, jump salah, join the salah, don't join the salah. Follow what the alim has taught you. I'm not going to tell you what to do and what not to do. I've done it my way. Then there comes a time where there's Hanafi and Shafi. Male is Hanafi, female is Shafi. Do I go 12 o'clock at night? Do I go after Fajr? Follow what the alim has told you. If your wife needs to go at 12 o'clock, like I did, and you're worried about her safety, go with her at 12 o'clock. Nothing is going to come off you. Nothing is going to come off you. You need to understand those things in order to make it easy. Again, ease and acceptance. Those are 2 words you're going to need to understand and bring in your ears. Ya Allah, grant me ease in what I'm going to do, and Ya Allah, accept it from me in terms of what I'm going to do. Those are the two most important words that a Haji needs to understand and reflect upon. Because Allah will never put you into a position that is going to be difficult for you or that is going to lead to your death. Also, with different operators that you are with, follow the group leaders. Follow Sahuc's instruction. When we're going up to the Jamarat, and last year I saw this, group of people lagged behind, elderly people, we went with them, we made sure that they got to the Jamarat. As we climbed the bridge or the ramp, people's eyes grew big like this because they saw the crowds. We don't need to be scared. If you follow the right instruction, you will not be taken into a situation that is going to harm you or that is going to be unsafe for you. When we finished counting the 3 Jamarats, the people that we were with said, Alhamdulillah, we were told back home that this is the most dangerous part of your Hajj. You could lose your life. There's no need to lose your life. They have changed the Jamarat to such an extent that 86,000 people can pelt per hour. You've got 5 different levels. And you will not interact with one another, whereas in the old days they had 2 levels. And it was like Qiyamah. People coming from different sides to trample on you, throw stones in your face, everything of that nature. Today it is the easiest thing. You'll come back and you'll say, did I really do Hajj? Did I really pelt the Jamarat? It was so easy. Wallahi, it was so easy. And that's what you're going to tell people when you come back. Because that's exactly what you are going to experience, inshallah. If you follow the right advices of your group leaders and remember what you were taught. In addition, I see a few brothers and sisters sitting in the front here. That is something that you're going to have to learn to do, is to sit on the ground for as long periods as possible. Because in the kingdom, in Makkah, in Medina, in the Haram, you're going to have to sit on the ground. There are chairs available for those elderly people that can't sit on the ground. But you're going to need to understand that if you're sitting there, you can't come out. Because if you come out, you're not going to be able to get back into your place for wudu or for whatever other reason. So you may have to sit there for Jumu'ah. Outside of Hajj, in January of this year, we went and we performed Jumu'ah in Medina, and we ended up going into the Haram at 9 o'clock for a 12:30 Jumu'ah. So from 9 o'clock to 12:30, plus you're going to sit for another hour. So look at the amount of time that you're sitting. So you've got to learn to sit on the ground for as long as periods as possible and maintain your wudu for as long periods as possible. Shoes are very important because the amount of walking that you do in the kingdom by far supersedes anywhere else in the world that you're going to walk. By far supersedes that. If you buy a pair of shoes, start wearing it in now. Making sure that those shoes are comfortable. Don't take the shoes in a box and it's new and unpack it on the 8th of Zilhijjah. You are going to be in trouble. Because if your feet give you problem in the kingdom of Saudi Arabia or your legs, you are going to have a miserable Hajj. Please understand that. And then you need to hydrate. This is going to be your friend. Water. And Zamzam water is going to be the best friend that you're going to have. In the hotel room, they put 2 bottles of water, you empty it in the kettle or you drink it, and you fill your bottles with Zamzam every single day thereafter. It has benefits, innumerous benefits from a religious point of view. But number 2, it's cheap, it's free. A cold drink will cost you 3 riyals 50. So if you're drinking 3 or 4 cold drinks a day, you spend a ton of money over 4 weeks or over 5 weeks. This is free, guys. Drink as much of it as you can. But hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. That is the most important. On the 5 days of Hajj, alhamdulillah, we will be there. Sahuc will be with you, Mina, Muzdalifah, Arafah. You will obviously need to do what is necessary to move. But importantly, the hikmah of your fellow Hujjaj is the greatest thing that you can put together as a Muslim going for Hajj. There's a youngster sitting in the crowd here. His father and I made Hajj in 1997. We have a bond to this day that is second to none because of being Haji Bais and Haji Gays. Only because you develop a bond and a love for one another. To make sure that you serve each other for the pleasure of Allah. Youngsters, there are older people in your groups, serve them. There are younger people in your group, serve them too. Doesn't mean that they're younger than you can't serve them. At the end of the day, you will get immense pleasure out of doing this because that's what it's about. It's about togetherness, it's about unification. And then coming back from Hajj. Hajj must not be a tick box. It must not be something that I've done my job now and I'm done. I'm a Haji. They can put a title on the checkbook. Haji so and so. That's not what this is about. Your Hajj started when you made the niyyah. It got increased when you got accredited. It got further increased when you came for the classes. The pinnacle is going to be the day of Arafah and the days of Tashriq. But then you are going to climb, it's like climbing Mount Everest. You go to the different base levels. To get to the pinnacle of Everest is after Hajj. When you need to live, you need to get more involved in the communities, you need to get more involved in your neighborhoods, you need to get more involved in your brothers and sisters of Islam, whether in South Africa, whether out of South Africa. But you need to be more involved rather than sit in our homes with big walls around us, not worrying about the neighbor, not worrying about the neighborhoods. Let us become humanitarians. They say there are so many human beings in the dunya, but let us start being human. Let us start being human on the basis that Muslim and non-Muslim alike must understand who we are and why we are who we are. If we go back to the teachings of our beloved Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he never won people's hearts for Islam by a war. Only his actions brought people over to Islam. And that is what we need to do. Our actions, our speech, our thoughts, and our minds must be for Allah alone. A quick anecdote before I leave. Maulana is indicating that my time is almost up. Some years ago, an alim said to me, a mufti actually said to me, if you stand out in the sun, you look at your shadow, if you chase it, are you going to catch it? The answer is no. You're never ever going to catch your shadow. What casts your shadow? The rays of the sun. And who has created the rays of the sun? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you turn and you move towards the nur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what follows you? Your shadow. Now if we take the simulation and we say that the shadow is the dunya, going to Allah, the dunya will follow you. Chasing the dunya, you're never going to catch it. And that is what we need to understand as Muslims and as parents, because we're imparting it to our children and our grandchildren and the generations to come after us. I thank one and all for the opportunity to stand before you here today, humbled as ever to be addressing the guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the presence of our esteemed Maulana Abdurrahman Laili. Please accept from me, and if I have offended anybody, I ask for forgiveness. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant me the ability to understand, and for every one of us, inshallah. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.